And you are back on the Tortoise and Hare experience. Man, this show has been jam-packed, and guess what?
Yep.
It's now time for dessert. You had the appetit with Jason.
Yes.
Of course, the main course, Victoria.
Yeah, she's delicious.
Oh, my God.
The delicious
beautiful.
Don't you want her for dessert? Turtle?
No, and I'll tell you why. Fun fact
Main
about
course
me.
Lasts longer?
Yeah, and I'm not a big dessert guy.
Okay.
Oh, really?
I really don't eat dessert. And I think it harkens back to my days growing up. I not that I was very poor, but my dad, he never bought dessert. He's like, why do we want dessert? He's like, that's just a luxury.
Just eat more dinner.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
wait
a minute. What's the purpose of eating food at all if you don't get dessert?
I'll be your dessert.
All
right.
You are a chef too, which makes it all
shocking.
even perfect. Yeah.
So the reveal.
The reveal. Yeah. So our guest in the hot seat right now, the lovely and talented, he is far more than just a chef, I have to say.
Oh yeah. I've
Far more.
He's a drummer.
He's a drummer.
I want to become a male model.
Yeah.
I've done it.
See, there it is.
There's some stuff out there you can find laid,
Yeah.
with the tiniest bits of clothing on a beach.
Fantastic.
With the water rolling over
It's
me and
interesting.
flexing every muscle I could, I've done it. Like first week in LA.
I heard that you actually started modeling when you were a baby, when your mom put you in your first baby pageant.
I did. So my name is Derrick Peltz. I
was gonna get to that. I was gonna get to that.
It's so funny. Yeah, that's a really funny story. My mom is amazing and like I owe so much to her, but and that was a big part of MasterChef. But my mom entered me into a baby beauty pageant when I was like 2 years old. I had these cool little like blue and orange and white Chucks on because we lived in Florida, so I had gaiters, Chucks,
Right.
and like these blue pants and like this like I look like just the coolest little kid. Like I was like, that's me, Mom? That's how you dress me? I was like, you pick out horrible stuff for me to wear now. How did you pull that off? Entered me in a baby pageant contest and I won. Like I got first place, but my mom was like, the other moms were so crazy. That was it. That was the last one.
Yeah, it's
First and
hardcore.
last. Yeah. It was
Baby pageants.
Did you win?
I did. I apparently I won it. I was 2. I don't even remember doing it. But there's a photo of me, walking down the stage with my mom, just starting early.
That's
First,
such a
yeah.
nice memory.
It is cool. I'm glad we have a picture of it. I mean,
But a memory for her,
Yeah.
that she was able to do that for you.
she has always pushed me to just pursue any idea I have. Like if I have an idea, a dream, a goal, like go for it. And I think that's kind of like where I've found all my talents. Not only do I play drums, which I found in an odd way, I'm very athletic. I've played every sport, football, baseball, soccer. I hated soccer. I was like always the fastest kid on the team, so coach would never give me a break, and I felt like I was just constantly running, and I'm like, what's everyone else doing? Like everyone just passes me the ball, and I'm like, forget this sport. So I gave that a try. But baseball was like my true love as a kid, my true first passion. I was eat, sleep, breathe baseball.
You almost got picked up by a minor league? Is that true?
So in high school, actually, before high school, I had high schools coming to my middle school games because I was making such a buzz in the paper with my talent that the high schools were like kind of bidding for me, like not like paying, but like trying to say, you should go here, you should go here. Because where we lived, I had choices for high schools in Colorado at the time. And I ended up going to the high school that my mom went to for about 6 months. But we picked that high school because of my mom and because the coach was amazing. And I truly wish I would have stayed there in hindsight. But I was being scouted by a Colorado Rockies scout, and he told my parents that if we were really considering like me trying to pursue a career, which I mean like the percentage of young kids making it as a professional baseball player is like 0.001%. It's like super hard.
But people make it.
They do, and there's no
They do
salary
make it.
cap in baseball, so you might as
Nice.
well just like go for it. But he told my parents that I needed to be in a warmer climate where I could play year round. Because in Denver, like we got 3 months outside, and the rest was indoor facilities, and they're limiting, you know. So we moved back to my home state of Florida
Yay, Florida.
and Fort Myers, Florida.
Unfortunate for you.
And I started high school at Estero High School. And, you know, like Coach Turco is a coach, and he's an amazing guy. But at the time, you know, I'm young, naive, and I've got the weight of, you know, actual scouts on me. And so anyway, we kind of butt heads a little bit. And I was coming home a lot, like super frustrated. Like I'm a teenager. I'm going through puberty. I'm like learning about girls and that girls like me and
Is there any more information you can give me about girls?
Yeah,
I could
Turtle
learn?
doesn't have a
yeah,
clue. He
Turtle,
needs- he
we'll
needs
get there.
class.
I'll give you some great pointers.
Thank you.
I could maybe even show you some stuff in the kitchen that
That's
just
cool.
seals the deal.
Deal.
But so I'm going through all these emotions as a high school kid, and the last thing I wanted was to butt heads with my baseball coach, because in Colorado, the coaches all that I had, they were always like, they were so much of a mentor. They were so much of a coach, and this coach was different. He ran his team like a professional team, and I didn't know what that felt like yet. So I wasn't at that age willing to learn. We were just butting heads. And anyway, my frustration led me to drums. This is a funny story and an experience I will share with you guys. I was going home and saying, Mom, I want a drum set. Mom, I want a drum set. And she's like, I can't afford it. It's too much. It's too loud. And she didn't even really mind the loud part. It was just, drums are expensive.
They're
And
very expensive.
any musician out there knows that, like, drummers spend the most money. It sucks.
And not only that, loading in and
Oh, yeah.
loading
We
out
have
is
to
like-
load the most. Like,
Yeah.
everyone's like, you know, like, they're like, oh, yeah, we'll help. And it's like they go find themselves busy. And that's how I stay in shape for most of the time. I don't work out. It's loading gear. So I convinced my mom finally to get me a drum set by skipping school one day. And my parents were at work. And I went into the garage. And I had this genius idea that I'm going to open the garage door about a foot. And I took the trash cans and I flipped them upside down. And my dad has like all these tools and stuff. So I found like some mallets. They were just like wooden rods and they were like for paint buckets or something. And I like tied a sock on it and then duct taped it. And I made like these mallets. And I, for like hours, was banging on these trash cans. Like the neighbors didn't know what the hell was going on. And I got caught skipping school because my mom came like home early from work and opened the garage, and there I am just like sweating,
Oops.
shirt off, going like full out stomp in the garage.
You're out stomping the yard.
Yeah, and I'm like, my mom's like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, Mom, buy me a drum set. And she goes, okay, we'll make a deal. You help your father paint the house and we'll buy you a drum set. So my first drum kit was like a $500 Tama kit that I got from this music store in town. And then like I broke some pieces and I went back to the music store and I saw this drum set that I really wanted. And it was a DW kit and it was like $6,000. And that's the kit I have today. Like
Nice.
it is.
How much painting did you have to do for that one?
Yeah, right.
That's a lot of
Oh
painting.
man, I painted so much. No, that one I brought the picture home and I showed my dad. I was like, "This is the next drum kit I want." And he goes, "You better get a job."
Yep.
So
It's expensive.
I did. I went and like I got my first job at 16 in high school at McDonald's. And for the record, you don't flip burgers there. It's actually like
Right.
it's a press. It's
You press burgers.
you just press it.
That's just gross.
Did you create anything
No,
special there?
Like I was not.
Did you have a secret menu there?
No, I was not very good there. It was really bad. Like I remember the manager was like this like redhead guy that was like super quirky.
He always walked around in a clown outfit.
Oh,
It
like
was really weird.
he had like the messiest car, and he would always send us employees out to his car to get things, and it was like, we didn't want to, but he was like, I need this right now. You need to go to my car and get it. And like we'd open his car door and it would just be like full of trash. It's like, why are you sending me out to your car? Guy was really weird. And he always would like, I'll never forget, he got really excited about like when the Irish McFlurry would come out.
And McFlurry season?
He would make like these special shakes like for himself, and he would walk around like drinking them, and he would like be telling us like what to do and getting mad at us. And then we're like, you're not even supposed to be drinking that, like, because he was like super worried about product waste, but then he would make whatever he wanted. Anyway, so like, gosh, you guys, I feel like I'm just hogging the mic.
No.
This is a really funny story. So for my McDonald's, this is my McDonald's story, really. This manager I knew like didn't like if I called in sick and stuff. But these girls, and I'll tell you a little girl side of the story.
Fantastic.
I'm like 16. I've joined this band in high school called Later Days, which I ended up actually doing a lot of great things with, and we toured.
We'll play a song with them.
Yeah. Really fun band. It was like, we were just brothers in high school that kind of, found music and girls together. So it was kind of like a coming of age story. Anyway, so I've got all this new attention for joining this band and being the drummer at school, and these girls are like, we're going to a party for Brittany's birthday and we want you to come. And I'm like, okay. I'm like 16 and I'm thinking, how am I going to, I could just ask my parents. My parents would be cool. She'd be like, I'm going to go to this party and I want to go. But I got, for some reason, chickened out telling my parents, and I ended up like sneaking out my window like late at night. And I meet them down the street and I get in this car and it's like 5 girls and me. And I'm like, how am I in this car right now? This is amazing. And we go to like some sketchy, like 25-year-old dude's house, and he gives us a bunch of alcohol, and then we drive to another house to have this party. And in the car, I'm telling this girl, Ashley, I'm like, Ashley, I can't stay out that late. I have to work in the morning. And she's like, I have a great mom voice. I'll call in sick for you. So I hand her, I give her the number, and this is before iPhones and stuff, like we have like those phones that like you could bounce off the ground and they still work.
Brick phone.
Yeah. And so she calls my boss, who it's a different boss at night, than the one in the morning. And she puts on this great mom voice and says that I have red tide and I got sick from being at the beach. And if you know anything about Florida and red tide, it's like a real thing. You can get sick from it.
I have no idea what that is.
It's like this whole algae thing. And
it's bacteria.
It's intense. But anyway, so she says that to them, and that's a valid excuse.
How does she sound? How does her mom voice sound? Does it sound
man, it was like good. It wasn't like old. It was like like a middle-aged like soccer mom voice.
Okay.
It was kind of cool. And if you knew the chick, you would be like,
let's call her right now.
You would try and marry her. I don't think I have her number, but anyway. So she calls the work, and we go out, and I'm like, cool. This is like my first high school party. I'm off the hook for work, and my parents have no idea that I snuck out. I'm going ham, Yeah. So we get to this house, and I show up, and there's some guys from the baseball team, and they're like really excited to see me because they're like all varsity, and I'm like, they know I'm going to be trying out for the team, and they're all carrying like 2 beers, they're like double fisting, which I'm sure that's a different term for you, Turtle, but
right. For sure.
They're all carrying 2 beers, and I turn to one guy like, I'm kind of embarrassed to ask, but I'm like, why is everybody carrying 2 beers? They're like, well, because they'll run out. So if you don't like always have 2, you might not get any. And I'm like, all right. So with that mentality, I'm like, I can carry 4.
That's just gluttony,
right? That's just... So I go to the fridge and I got 4 Coronas and I'm like trying to drink them and I'm having a blast. And I remember I started like dancing with like this senior chick and it was really cool. And everyone was like, I felt like the movie Superbad, but before the movie Superbad. And this one girl, Raquel, who's a senior, she's going to another party. And she's like, you should come. And I'm like, all right. And so I just go with her and I get in like this big ass truck because that's what girls in Florida drive is big trucks.
No way. That's cool.
And so
it's hot.
I leave the party. I don't tell the girls I came with that I'm leaving, and I end up at another party. Anyway, long story short, like 5 a.m, this like chick shows up. She's around like 25, and she's like so-and-so's sister. And she was like, all right, if you're drunk and you're underage, you're getting in my car and I'm taking you home. And I'm like, sweet, free ride home. I'm not going to get pulled over. I'm not going to get in trouble. I'm going to sneak back in my window. Like, done deal. So I get in this car, and we're getting close to where I live, and one kid has to, like, puke. And so she pulls the car over and she pukes. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to walk from here because I feel like this is a whole episode of television. Right. And she was like, no, don't walk. I'm responsible for you. I was like, I'm right around the corner. Walk home. I sneak back in. I'm like, sweet, I can go to bed. Like, I don't have to be up. Because it was like, that was a long night for a 16-year-old, first time partying, like dancing with senior girls. And anyway, so I fall asleep. And about 20 minutes later, my dad wakes me up and goes, you got a call from work. You're late. You need to go. And I'm like, hey, still drunk, you know? And I'm like, no, I called in sick. He's like, you're not sick. Get up. Go. And I'm like, oh, my God. So apparently the call at night didn't get transferred to the manager in the morning. No. And he's wondering where I am. So I show up, and I'm like, I can't even believe I'm admitting this, but I drove to work. And I shouldn't have been driving at all. And I get there. And by the way, I told this story to my parents like a couple Thanksgivings ago. It was hysterical. And I get there, and they can tell something's not right with me. And, like, it's a, Saturday morning at McDonald's. There's a line around the building.
The breakfast is spectacular there.
Yeah. It's not MasterChef quality, but it's something.
Dude, their big breakfast, I was just talking about it the other day, is so delicious. Man, but the hash browns there are fucking
They
delicious.
are good. Those are
Come
good.
on, dude.
I don't know how they do it.
He doesn't really have an educated palate.
So this is the best part. They're like, Derrick, we're putting you on the toaster. And I know that sounds like you're at home, you think of the little toaster with the 2 or maybe 4 slices of bread. McDonald's toaster is this giant, like, flat metal thing that has a slot at the top and a slot at the bottom, and inside is like the toaster coils. And you just rip the English muffin in half, and you're feeding them in as fast as you can. And so, like, that's my job. I'm like, okay, well, that shouldn't be hard. Like, any drunk guy could do that. And I'm throwing these English muffins into this thing, and somehow I back it up, and it's stuck. And the English muffins are just burning.
Oh, no.
And there's, like, black smoke coming out of it. And the manager comes over and goes, Derrick, I'll fix it. Just go to drive-thru and hand the food out the window for the orders. So I'm like, okay. I go up to the window. And somehow I get an order behind for each car. So for, like, 16 cars, I handed the wrong order to. Oh, man. So now there's this new line inside of people trying to get the right food. It was so bad.
Sheer chaos.
Needless to say, I got a major warning on that one. And then like a week later, I was actually sick. My dad calls in to say I'm sick. And the guy calls back and goes, is Derrick there? And my dad's like, he's sick. Who is this? He goes, this is a manager from McDonald's. And my dad just cusses the guy out.
Ooh.
Like, was so mad that he called back and challenged. My dad didn't know, the whole story. So I got fired from that. My dad got me fired. It was amazing.
And that's how you got the drums.
And so that was part, so that was like part of like working towards getting the drums. But that's my funny like McDonald's experience story.
That's how my kids always, got things. They would guilt me into it.
Right.
They're like, I did something wrong, so they would get, a car.
Well, no, see, like that. No, that was I actually worked for the money for the drum set. Like my parents never would like just give me anything. I had to like earn it, prove it, make it happen. So I'm grateful for that because now like being older and I appreciate so much.
I think that's a good philosophy. If I ever again inseminate a female.
Which won't be Victoria DeMar.
You never know.
It's not going to be.
You never know.
Oh.
Anyway,
not having it. I am not having it.
I think the lesson is don't give your kids what they want. Give them what they need. And if they want something, they're just going to have to get it themselves.
I think that there's an even balance in that. Being that I am the only parent in this room.
That's true.
I'm going to go with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my kids they're not terribly spoiled. Terribly.
But
all right, so my kids are spoiled. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy that? Do you enjoy that they're spoiled?
Well, how do I put this without it sounding just
Well,
terrible?
Like, define spoiled these
Well,
days.
yeah,
I mean, there's
yeah.
like,
There is different levels of being spoiled.
Yeah.
I came from a family where I have 3 older brothers and a sister, and my older
Wow.
brothers got everything. I'm talking recording studios, multi-million-dollar recording studios, dive shops right on the beach, jewelry stores, on and on and on and on. And little Max has been working since she's 7 years old.
mm,
So when it came to my kids, I kind of, I had a good time at giving them what they wanted.
right.
So
Because,
it
like,
was very, limos and front rows all the time.
Right. I understand that.
Do you think that
makes sense.
became an addiction of yours?
No, absolutely not. I have no addictions.
Not like an addiction of giving your kids what they want, seeing them happy. I know that sounds weird.
Well, you always want to see your kid happy. I found it a survival skill with children because they would throw a little fit in a store if they didn't get what they wanted. So, you give them little bits and then make them work for the rest.
Speaking of addiction, like, phones are like, I think, in a classification of addiction.
Oh, yeah.
As a phone just goes off immediately
I mean,
as you say that.
So going on MasterChef, it's a big process, but that we don't have our phones. We don't get to talk to the outside world because something very important is going on, and they can't. Nothing can be leaked. We can't spoil anything, so we have no phones. So for the duration,
Is there a phone police that like?
they just take
There's
them.
okay.
Like we when we get picked up, it goes right into a bag and turned off, and like that's it, which is awesome because for the duration of filming while you're there, and I can't say how long I was without my phone, but that time being without your phone and you're with other people, it's like, wait, this is how we used to live,
Right.
like when we had a phone at home that's attached to the wall. And like as a kid, when I went out, like 10 years old, the house we lived at in Colorado had a bus stop right in front of it. And in the summer, like my parents had to work and I was the babysitter. And if my grandparents like wanted to see my little brothers, that was like, sweet, I'm not babysitter today. And I would jump on the bus and just go places at 10. I'd be like, Mom, I'm going to Six Flags. And she's like, well, just check in with me, okay? I'm like,
What?
yeah, no
No
problem.
way.
And I would. I would go to Six Flags. I would go to Colorado Rockies games. Me and my buddy Jeremy, like, we went and did so much as 10, 11, and 12-year-olds. You can't do that these days.
No.
You can't do that at all. I mean, we got to, I explored Denver, like.
It was a more innocent time for you.
Well, yeah, and for like everyone, but like now with like technology and the way phones are, like coming back from the show, there's a certain window like where we can't talk about anything because the show hasn't even aired yet and they haven't announced cast. And when they do, then like we all get excited and we get to like show the pictures of us like on the Fox website and stuff, and that's really exciting. And now that like episodes are airing and people around the world are watching, they're like the social media is just expanding so much that it's become like a full-time job because so many new talent, like executives and agents and stuff that want to take on new talent, your social media numbers matter. And it's like, so you want to like make sure you're connecting with everyone. You want to make sure that like no Twitter follower goes unmissed or Instagram follower goes unmissed. And then at the end of the day, like you're like, I've been on my phone for like 8 hours now.
Right.
And I'm like, and I can't like put it down. It's like this weird like addiction. And like
Not only that, but it's networking and it's the addiction of this is my job right now.
Sure. And like,
and I'm not trying to, gloss it over like, oh no, it's cool. It's
right.
your job. But I
can cover it up with like a purpose. I have a
Yeah.
purpose to be on
Right.
Instagram and social and Twitter, but do I need to be on it that much? Like sometimes I'll catch myself just like scrolling and I'm like, wait a minute, what am I doing right now? I need to like put this thing down. And like I think like there are people that have really addictive personalities. I think like my addiction is just like success. Like I wake up for that every day, and like when I look back at all the things that I've actually gotten to do so far, like it's a pretty cool list. I'm pretty proud of it, and my mom's certainly proud of it. Is it good enough for me? Like, no. I feel like I'm already ready. Like, sweet, MasterChef has been amazing. What's next? And that's just like, that's the mentality I have.
I'll tell you what's next. We are going to hear Later Days. That was one of the first bands you were in?
Yeah, so Later Days was a band I joined in high school very randomly. The girl, Brittany, that I mentioned in the McDonald's story, she used to drive me to school because I got my parking pass revoked because...
Because you're a wild card.
Well, because I was actually... I didn't want to pay for the parking pass, so I printed a fake one. And I was parking illegally at school, which is so
You're
stupid.
a loose cannon.
We should just all have, like, why, like, seriously, like, it seemed like a messed up system. So I was like, there's certain things where I'd fight the system on. So Brittany would take me to school. Well, Brittany's boyfriend was in a band called Later Days, and they wanted to add a second guitarist, and his name's John. And John is actually still my best friend today. They wanted to add this new guitarist. Well, the drummer was pissed, and so he quit. And so she puts in a word, and then Josh is like, come to band practice. So I literally like meet the band at the first day of band practice. And I guess, like I sucked. I was terrible. But it was a new sound for them, sucking and being terrible. And
what a new sound.
They didn't really have a choice. It was like they didn't know anyone else. And so I kind of learned to play the drums with this band. But one day, and I'll never forget it, they came to me, and we were getting ready to like do an actual record, and they're like, Derrick, you're not very good at the drums, and you need to get better.
That's hurtful.
No, it's called
it's called constructive criticism. And when you're in a band with people you trust and musicians that you trust, you would hope that they would actually say that to you, because there's so many like groups out there and so many bands that never make it because they can't be honest with each other. And we were always honest with each other. And so I was like, for the first time, like, I was like, oh, okay, like, shit. Well, okay, like, give me a week, like, give me a month, whatever. And I went home, and instead of, like, just playing the drums like I normally did, I put headphones in my ears, and I started trying to play along to drummers that I liked and albums that I liked. And it was everything from Green Day and Blink-182, Taking Back Sunday, Fall Out Boy, like all like those are the kind of bands that like I found in high school. And then Paramore like hit the scene, and their drummer like really inspired me. So then I started like trying to mimic all those. And then it was like time to record the album, and we started writing songs, and they just loved what I brought to the table. And then like we actually found a sound, and we developed as a band. And this is back like MySpace days, and we were one of the top unsigned bands on MySpace. We booked a whole tour by ourselves via MySpace. In 3 months, we made $80,000, just the four of us,
wow,
with
that's
merchandise, shows, and selling music online. And we were touring. We booked a middle school tour. We figured out how to like get two kids in school while they're at lunch, and they can't like run away from us, and
can't
they had to listen. And then it was like exposing kids to their first like rock concert, and it was insane. Like I have videos on YouTube where you can't see us. We're getting mobbed by these kids for autographs, and like you can't see the band, you just see screaming middle school kids. And it was one of the like greatest times of my life as like a 19, 20-year-old, like just out on the road exploring. And the only bill like I had was my cell phone bill. So like we made a ton of money, and we decided, and we had already recorded an album that we liked. We're like, let's move to LA. So we did another tour, made some more money, and saved up enough money to move out to LA. And then, then it got tough, because now we all had rent, we had car payments, we had, life like showed up all of a sudden.
Hate when that happens.
But we started making a name for ourselves out here. We won Kiss FM's Breakout Star. We got to play Wango Tango and open up for some really big acts. And, we were like, we did a show at like the Whiskey and like 300 kids showed up. And like, if you're in the LA scene to have 300 people show up, it was a big deal. And then, then like some other things happened and LA got the best of a couple of the members. And we kind of dissolved, which was sad, but that was a different story. Like the music and the brotherhood is still there, and there was just some inner demons that got to these guys. But so I didn't give up. I was like, I've found out who I am. Like, I'm a very animated, entertaining drummer, and I can play for other artists. And Travis Barker really inspired me on that one because like he had Blink-182, but he found Blink-182 because their drummer quit like at the beginning of a tour, and the Aquabats were opening up for Blink-182, and Travis was the drummer for the Aquabats, dressed in like a bat outfit, and it was just like ridiculous. And he in 30 minutes learned the entire Blink-182 album because then it wasn't difficult. They didn't have Travis yet. And he just knocks it all out, and he goes on tour with them, and like they get a song on the radio, and they blew up, and then now, like post Travis's plane crash, like the guy, I don't even know when he sleeps. Like he's constantly recording something new with somebody else, and I'm like, that's inspiring. I can play for other artists. I don't have to stay with this one band that I've been with forever. Although I love the music, and the music is on iTunes, and you can still get it to this day. So the song on there, Later Days, does have me on the drums, called Nar versus the World. And I don't really know what it means. The song is definitely about like taking over the world, and like, the world is yours. It's whatever you make of it, and you can go out there and accomplish anything. So it's definitely a song about like chasing your dreams. And Nar is actually like Jar Jar Binks from like Star Wars.
Right.
Like it has something to do with that.
Play on that.
I don't know because I didn't come up with the song title, but
That's so funny.
you remind me of like Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia meets Joe Dirt.
That is
good?
a great example of Charlie.
Which are like
Charlie
That
Day.
is great.
like two of my like favorite like characters of all time. Although Charlie Day, I feel like is just playing himself. But David Spade as Joe Dirt, amazing, and it's just like. It's like I'm just thinking of like that radio interview that he's doing.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, are those real, or are those just like they just are that way? Like you don't cut them, you don't shave them. It's just like
Does it come all white trashy like that? Yeah. Well, you don't like the chops?
no, I do. Like they're solid. I'm
They
actually
are
wondering, do you like
solid.
measure to make sure?
No,
that-
it's all freehand.
okay.
It's all just like
Okay.
okay. It's funny because like it's tough to find people to like my chops because they just don't understand. Max isn't a fan of them.
No.
Well, maybe like okay, you got to think about like what girls like.
Yeah.
But here's
Turtle and
Yeah,
like think
sure.
about like
Oh no, let's
think about like
let's ask Victoria
about just, like,
DeMar.
I'm gonna. This is probably
Yeah.
way too graphic,
No
but
worries.
like think about like the inside of your legs, like rubbing that.
that'd be hot.
No,
No, it's not. It's really not.
Go home, take a Brillo pad, and rub it on the inside of your leg. See how it feels.
Yeah, but I'm not going that fast. I take my time. You know what I mean? It's like you're thinking I'm fucking no, dude. When I'm down in there, it's
been 3 years, right?
Yeah, I'm enjoying the meal. You know.
How long have you had the mutton
That's
chops?
where his educated palate comes in.
The mutton chops have been an ever growing because before I just had chops.
Okay.
Well, I had chops, and then at the time, I had my girlfriend. She was really into beard, so I grew a beard for her. Then we broke up, and then I had a beard for a year. Then I just was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Then it morphed just to chops, and then it, or not chops, it grew up to sideburns, and then it just evolved because what ended up happening, and I've said this story many times, is I kept on trying to get the perfect sideburn to go straight, but I would keep on messing up until I just couldn't do a straight line until finally it just bloomed into chops, and I was like, oh, Have chops.
You know what men don't realize is that girls usually have a memory from their father of shaving.
Okay.
You can smell, his
Right. Like the aftershave.
yeah, the aftershave, or for my father it was like that green Menins aftershave.
Yeah.
And I used to stand in the bathroom and watch him shave because I thought it was fascinating. And he was, my father was like very, very dapper.
Yeah.
Head to toe, it was just to the nines at all times. And for my brothers to come home with beards, it was a big, big deal.
Right.
Like,
you didn't like it.
No, my father didn't like it.
Oh, okay.
Because they weren't taking the time
Right.
to,
There's something
to
about
groom
like the
properly.
bathroom ritual, girls do take a lot of time in the bathroom for the most part. There's some out there that are like God's gift to the world and they need 5 seconds. But, those are like...
Why is that a gift?
They call those like unicorns because I spend more than 5 seconds in the bathroom. Like, I'm a little like loose today. I haven't actually taken the time lately, but, like staying well manicured and putting on that ritual in the morning is kind of like in a spiritual kind of way. Like you're starting your day and it resonates with you all day, right? Like that's how I feel.
I think that you should take that time to really, groom properly.
But his chops look well groomed.
Thank you.
Well, they are, because it's Tuesday.
Yeah. No. I shave every other day. Every other day I shave.
Okay.
Unless it's real weird. Unless like my last shave day is on a Saturday, because my shave days sometimes are just weird. And then if it's on Saturday, then I don't want to shave Monday because I want to shave for Tuesday.
Right.
For the show.
See, I have a superstition about shaving, that it's bad luck for me. It just anytime I shave, like somewhere in the day, like if I shave in the morning, somewhere in the day something goes bad. And I don't know, like I just can't, like I try so hard to get over it. But so I shave between 11:30 and 11:59 p.m. so that when I finish, the day ends, it's a new day, the bad luck's gone.
But when you go to sleep, your hair follicles are open and they're going to grow faster.
Well, so
day.
basically what I'm saying is like
it's a superstition.
It's a exactly.
Oh, I get your superstitions. Trust me, I get them. My daughter's a freak with superstitions. It's crazy.
Yeah.
She's like, she doesn't let me do anything. She's like, no, you can't do that. You got to, turn in a circle. And
I think
spit.
it was a baseball thing for me.
Yeah.
When I started baseball, like the superstitions just built up and built up and built up. And
yeah, I noticed that
real.
About baseball players.
Yeah.
They're very.
And it's it's fun. Like when I go to like baseball games, like I know I can see the superstition before anyone else, and because I had so many of them, and it's just like watching each player. It's like he's doing this, and watch, he'll do it every time. And sure enough, like every time he moves, like he does that thing, but that's whatever.
I'm gonna try to get a Dodgers Rockies some tickets to that. Maybe you can go.
Dude,
I'm a Dodger fan.
That would be awesome. I love the Dodgers too. I like to go watch the Dodgers. A new pitcher they got, I don't know his name, but he's like a young kid that can just throw so hard, so fast. Are
you talking about the new one that they just acquired from the Braves?
I think so.
Lutz or something like that.
He's a younger kid, long hair.
And then there's Greinke, who's like
Greinke.
Brilliant. Yeah, well, we got him a while ago, but this might be his last season.
No, maybe it's not him. I don't know. I don't know their names.
Yeah, and then there's Kershaw.
I stopped following so much, but this kid is like younger looking, long hair, and can throw so hard. And it's like finally someone back in baseball. Like Randy Johnson's like the last like hard pitcher like I used to like really follow. I mean,
there's only one reason for me to go to a baseball game.
For the hot dogs, obviously.
Absolutely not.
Duh.
Ugh, disgusting.
Nachos?
No. It's the
beer.
It's the baseball pants.
Mm.
I have a thing about baseball butts.
You know what?
No,
my gosh.
No joke. When I played in high school, like these girls would show up at the games, and they like, because like for the high school team, I played second base, but my true passion, I wanted to play catcher. But the high school already had like a phenomenal catcher or whatever. But so for the traveling team, I got to play catcher. So these girls would show up to like the weeknight games and just sit behind, home plate, watch me in my baseball pants.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's the only reason I go.
Dodgers Rockies game would be cool. It'd be really cool.
Let's talk about how you transitioned into becoming a chef. What was it for you? I certainly wasn't McDonald's, obviously.
No. In fact, like I didn't like. There was nothing about McDonald's that could consider anyone like a chef. I mean, it was just like.
Do you still have that like smell in your head, the McDonald's smell? It's very
yeah.
distinct.
Like I have a pair of Dickies that for some reason I've never thrown away, but like they still smell like the back of house of McDonald's.
But you know what? I have to say right now because I did a commercial for McDonald's.
Awesome.
So we have to promote McDonald's in a positive light.
We
And,
have. We've just been telling stories about, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
I do like McDonald's value meal though. Like, man, sometimes I try to avoid it as much as I can, but like a McChicken plus ketchup, you have to say it like that because that's how they like put things together. If you say with ketchup, they'll just put ketchup and no mayo and lettuce, and it's like I want the mayo, the ketchup, and the lettuce on my McChicken, and that's like my secret.
My secret is their barbecue sauce. You put that on anything, and it's.
Yeah.
I've always told them, like, guys, you need to just
make a barbecue burger.
Yeah, or sell the sauce. You know.
Chick-fil-A sells their secret sauce. You can go and buy like tubs of their Chick-fil-A sauce.
Yeah.
Genius.
And In-N-Out sells animal sauce.
Yeah.
Or actually, I think they just give it away.
Yeah. It's the spread.
Yeah.
So becoming a chef, you know, like when I was in high school, I liked. Let me start over. When I was in high school, my parents, like, we had dinner scheduled. Every night, dinner was at whatever. We didn't have to be there if we didn't want to. If we wanted to be out, like, doing a social activity, if baseball practice was running late, there was an exception. They would make food for me and put it in the fridge. But if there was, like, band practice or I wanted to go to the movies or the mall or whatever, cool, no problem. I had to let the parents know as long as my homework was done. But if I missed dinner, I missed dinner. I would have to fend for myself was the rule. Fend for yourself. So, which was kind of fun because, like, then I didn't have to, like, worry about missing dinner. I could make my own. I could buy my own, whatever. So I started, like, kind of experimenting in the kitchen then. And then, like I said, like, I was starting to, like, you know, like girls and whatever. And so my dad gave me the idea one day. He's like, you should invite your girlfriend over and cook for her here. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't even remember what I made. It was probably terrible. But she pretended to like it, and that was cool. And so then, like, along the way, like, I started just, like, cooking for people and, like, cooking for my bandmates. And it's still, like, it was never, like, really good. And then, like, the last couple years I've really, like, honed in on what I like to cook, and I attribute that to, like, living here in LA and dining out a lot, and you know, I got convinced by people around me, my friends and family members, try out for a cooking show. So it's like, okay, and this is actually kind of a really good story for right now because MasterChef is now casting season 7. And they travel all over the country looking for people. And it's a life-changing experience. If you actually, you know, if you feel like you may have what it takes, definitely try.
Well, I don't know because, you know, there are a lot of people out there claim that they have really good skills.
Yeah.
But I've watched your show, and what you're doing is top level. So, you know, that competition is rough.
It's really hard. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. But, you know, like, a good challenge, like, really, like, humbles you and really, like puts you in your place, you know? And, like, cooking for, you know, Gordon and Graham and Christina, I mean, they're so amazing at what they do. To get a good compliment from them is just, like, it's overwhelming. So I was told by friends, you know, go try out for a cooking show. And so I submitted to a few. And I'll just, for MasterChef purposes, leave that out. But I submitted to a few, and I emailed MasterChef, and 20 minutes later I got a phone call. And I did not expect that kind of, like, quick response. I sent them just kind of like a breakdown of who I am, what I do, and I sent them a picture and a video of me playing drums, and then I sent them a picture of one of my signature dishes. And they called me in 20 minutes, and they set me up with a VIP audition last October. And it was like 8 in the morning. So I had the audition which it's an open call, but if you have a VIP, you get to skip the line basically. So I encourage to like submit. Don't just go to the open call, submit, because you can get bumped. So I get there, I get to skip the line, and basically what you do is you cook a dish at home. You bring it in separate components. Like for me, I had scallops with a purple cauliflower puree, roasted Brussels sprouts, and a white balsamic gastrique with some edible flowers. And so everything's got to be in its own compartment. Scallops, puree, Brussels sprouts, blah, blah, blah. Because when you get there, you get put into a room with 50 other people trying to, make the audition. And you're in like a big room, and there's all these tables. And then in the middle is the culinary team. And they put 3 minutes on the clock, and you have to plate your dish. That 3 minutes, like, Turtle, it's faster than any 3 minutes you've ever experienced.
I'm sure.
It's so fast. And it felt like 30 seconds. And I was shaking. Like, oh, my God, I was shaking putting this dish together. I did it, and then it goes into multiple rounds. And, like, you get taken from there into another room, and you get interviewed with 6 other people, and then you get interviewed again, and then you go to an on-camera interview, and just, like, the process is months. It's really months. And then finally, like, I got the call, and it was like, wow, this is about to be real. And you show up, and they take your phone away, and then the real journey begins. So it's definitely it was the craziest and hardest thing I've ever done, but right now it's like the most rewarding.
Is it like American Idol, where I don't have TV, so
It's the American Idol of cooking.
so people can call in,
Except for that part.
vote for you, or
Gordon Ramsay and Christina and Graham, they're the judges.
Okay, is there anything that the public here can do to garner more support for you?
No, like, all the support comes after. Like, they're watching, and like, I have a ton of fans, and I use the hashtag Team Derrick. And my Instagram is DrockVP, DROCKVP. That's my Instagram and Twitter. And basically, the support we need after MasterChef is really just the fans, cheering us on and supporting our future endeavors, anything we do, after MasterChef. And, the further you go on the show, the more doors open. We're right now top 9. And at top 9, I've done a couple, like, news appearances. I did one in Las Vegas. It was really, really cool, and got to be on the morning show there. I've done some interviews, like, on some magazines. But the latest one I just got confirmed is I'm doing a charity event for the Children's Hospital in Fort Myers, Florida, my hometown.
And that's the 18th through the 24th.
Yeah, so the event is on the 19th, and it's at this restaurant called Rum Runners, and it's a big culinary event. Like, it's $175 a head to, like, get into this thing.
Wow.
It sells out, and then they're gonna auction off dinner cooked by me for up to 6 people. So, and all of that is going to go to the Children's Hospital. And then there's some kids that are, like, fans of the show that, are staying at the hospital because, they're too sick to go home. And I'm going to go pay them a visit. And it's really cool to be put on this kind of platform and have this kind of light and to be able to do something good with it, because it doesn't come a lot. And when it does, it's quick, like, we're already halfway through the season, and it feels like it just started yesterday, and, like, I want to capitalize off it as much as I can, and I want it to benefit me, but at the same time, like, there's fans and there's kids out there that, like, really need help, and so it's nice to be able to use
Is it the
this.
Fort Myers Children's Hospital? Is that the name of
It's
it, or is
called
it a sanctuary?
Golisano's Children's Hospital. It's actually, from what I've done on my research, it's a big hospital group. I think they have multiple locations. So I don't want to say any more so I don't mess it up, but Golisano's Children's Hospital.
And for more information, can they go to your website to learn more?
Yeah, so, well, I post a lot of, like, that kind of stuff, like, on Facebook. My website is derrickpeltz.com, and that will take you to all my social media. And then I have a chef page on Facebook and my regular Facebook, which right now I'm hesitant to turn it into a fan page, but it might get to that point because I think I have, like I'm not even kidding, over 1,000 friend requests that I haven't approved. And
then Facebook, I believe after 5,000.
Yeah,
You
they can. But the new feature where you can follow on Facebook without being a friend is great. So I do encourage that. Like, go to my Facebook and just follow me. You'll get to see everything that I'm posting, and that's cool. But Instagram is definitely the coolest way to see what I'm up to. I love posting my food, my music, my random stuff on my Instagram. And then Twitter, I do a lot of like live tweeting with the show. As the show's airing, I'm tweeting about like what's going on and all that kind of crazy stuff, which is fun.
Is it crazy to relive it and then talk about going through it? Because I mean, it's already in the can, so when you're looking at it, you're just kind of remembering what you were going
Yeah,
at.
well, I mean, it's definitely crazy because we shoot a lot. Like, we shoot all day. I mean, there's times, like 12-hour days, and it's for an hour of screen time, And so when you start with a cast of 40 of us, there was 40 of us, it was 20 versus 20, and there was like a surprise 20. Like, we get like seconds of camera time. Now we're not like top 9, so we're getting like tens of seconds. It's like it's really tough, and like I've been getting a lot of camera times. I've been really thankful because I don't edit it, and it's been really great to get a lot of camera time. But that was just due to like I had a mission. I'm gonna go in to be the next Master Chef, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes. And my goal was to win every challenge, win every team challenge, and win every mystery box, and just like piss everyone off because they couldn't beat me. Like, that was my mentality. Then I got there and I found out like that's not how it's gonna go. Like, other people are good too,
they're gonna be good.
And
it's competition.
And I also was gonna go in and like not talk to anybody. I was just gonna like be stone cold. I'll talk to the camera. I'll talk to the judges. That is it. And then you find out like these people are everyone that's like auditioning, everyone trying to be on MasterChef, and everyone that is there, and the cast and contestants with me, they're all amazing people, and they're all from just different walks of life, and we have one common thing, and that's we love cooking food. So then it makes it like really hard, like when people get cut and go home, it's emotional, and it's just like, man, because like you get to this point when you're there that you just want everyone to win, but like the reality is only one person is going to win.
Who was the hardest for you to see leave?
Well,
up to this point.
In the season.
Yeah.
Show.
Yeah.
That's aired.
That's aired.
Yeah, because that's really hard because I can't talk about it any further, but I think at this point I wasn't emotional yet because like you set goals for yourself. You're like, okay, we're top 40 today. Right now, I just want to make it to top 20. Then when you get to top 20, you're like, I just want to make it to top 10. And so it hasn't been too emotional. Sarah, she went home number 11. Her and I had just like really good bond on the show, and like when we're riding from hotel to set, like in the bus, like there's like however many of us between each bus, we got along really well, and we were able to vent to each other, and that was cool. Like we have our own hotel rooms, so we don't talk to each other except for when we're like in our traveling groups. So I was kind of bummed when Sarah left because like that was like my person that I was able to vent to, and so I lost that. But what I can say is Katrina has become like my best friend from the show. Like I talk to her once a week. Her laugh just cracks me up. So like I'll just call and I'll just be like, Katrina, and then she just starts laughing, and then I laugh, and so and she has her and I have like very similar palates. Like we enjoy Asian inspired food. And
Who doesn't?
And fusion. Yeah, well, I don't know. There are people out there that don't like certain things. So we got along great with her. Nick Nappy like became like the older brother I never had, because I've always been the older brother. I've always picked on my brothers. He picks on me quite a bit, and I think he thoroughly enjoys it. So he's kind of become like my older brother. Steven is like the wild man. He's like the dark horse that.
He's an interesting character.
Yeah.
It's like you love to hate him.
Yeah, sure. Like at the beginning, like I agree with that, because I felt like the same way. Like when we were, all getting to know each other, I was like, this guy is my competition. This is the guy like we all got to watch out for, because he's just, he's got so many different experiences, and he has a garden at home that's like massive, and he knows like he like loves vegetables, and it's just like he's a very intense, passionate person, and we're starting to see that on the show now. And so you'll see more. I mean, there's a little clip at the end of last episode when they're promoting the next episode where Graham asks him who his biggest competition is, and he says me. And so
dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. So this next episode is going to get pretty wild.
Uh-oh.
Very cool. So make sure you guys tune in to that episode. It's Master Chef, and it's on Fox.
Wednesday nights. Fox, Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., 8/7 Central. And I live tweet with the East Coast airing, because I'm from the East Coast. So
okay,
I start tweeting at 5 o'clock. Oof.
Perfect. So everyone,
That's a long day.
Everyone can go check that live tweet, and remember, support Derrick. Hashtag Derrick's team.
Team Derrick.
Team Derrick.
I got a new one. Hashtag sleeveless chef, because everyone's making a big deal of the fact that I don't have sleeves on.
Well, that's kind of unsanitary. I mean,
it's unsanitary when you're selling food. When wardrobe won't let me wear sleeves, and I'm cooking for the judges, they're not buying it. Like they don't.
Okay.
Whatever. I'm well manicured and clean.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna hear another song by another band that you're in, or that you were in.
Yeah, I'm in.
In currently.
So yeah, so like after Later Days, I decided I'm gonna play for hire, and you can hire me. And I've played for a lovely girl by the name of Melanie Taylor. Look her up, Melanie Taylor Music. She's got a lot of great stuff. I've done some work with a rapper by the name of No Clue. He's out of Seattle, and he is the world's fastest rapper. He can do like 982 syllables in a minute, and you can understand it. It's phenomenal.
It's like you, Turtle.
So I'm in a music video with him called I'm a Mash, and then we did some other projects together. But this next song is with this group that I'm currently with called Sid Youth. 3 female singers, and Sheila's a rapper as well.
Is she a punk rocker as well?
Because Sheila's a punk rocker.
Yeah, no.
It's a song.
Yeah. No, these girls, super talented. They got a lot of sex appeal. Very fun to work with. This song is called Workshop. I only play live for them. This is not me on the track. But live is like a whole other thing. But I am in the music video for this song as well, which we did with Matt Alonzo, world famous music video director. So I definitely encourage checking out the music video to this song, Workshop by Sid Youth.